Hello. What is going on, Kryptonians? Wow, crypto is on fire. I'm very excited to speak about it today because there's just a lot going on. There's so much opportunity. Like I said in the title, opportunity is brewing, and I absolutely hope that you do not miss the rocket ship. So in this particular episode of Crypto Kohrs, we're going to be talking a lot about the overall crypto sector and some of my thoughts and opinions of what might be brewing in the back end for 2022. Just because it's basically equivalent to the S&P 500, but for the world of crypto, yes, we're going to be spending some time particularly on Bitcoin, but then from there, we're going to be talking about some other stuff related to NFTs, Metaverse, some other individual projects, because right now things are killing it. I mean, we're going to be talking about, of course, SHIB, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche. The list goes on. We're going to be taking a peek at all of them, and it's going to be more of a higher level general view. And I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on where I think some opportunity is. And then at the end of it, I would love to get your thoughts on where opportunity is. And maybe we could share some information with some other people or come to an agreement or see where the others disagree. But right now, it's very difficult to deny that there isn't just, it's absurd. It's so absurd what's going on in crypto and the money-making opportunities, what this means for technology, what this means for society, culture, across the board. We are living in such a transformative time. And I don't know, whenever I think about it, whenever I do more and more research, I just get more and more excited because it feels like we are living at the apex of some incredible technological transformation, and what this leads to years down the road, decades down the road. I think we're going to look back at this time and be like, whoa, that's like when it all started. And I strongly believe that there are going to be people right now making the appropriate moves. And then years down the line, we're going to be talking about the stories of like, oh, that family has generational wealth because of what their grandfather or their grandmother did in 2020, 2021, 2022, the early 2020s here. And I still think there's time. I don't think the boat is like really left the harbor yet, but I think we're going to be hearing a lot of those stories. And man, oh man. Well, with all that being said, like I said, we're going to be kind of diving into more of a general view and then more specific things. So let's hop right over to it. All right, so first of all, crypto's on its way back up. Last time we checked last week, it was around 2.2 trillion in market cap. Just so you know, Bitcoin itself will have $1 trillion evaluation of the market cap, around 53,000 per coin, just so you know. And then also for it to eventually be equivalent to gold, it's going to have to be trading at a price per unit of 600,000. But right now it's looking good, and we are going to be diving into the charts. Ethereum coming in at 2. I mean, look at the green. The green across the board. Terra Luna recently has been on a very nice tear. So is Polkadot. We're going to get into Cardano. Cardano's been sitting at 6, but recently the price action has been really nice. Of course, we're going to be talking about that. And then Avalanche still hanging out right outside of the top 10, but I'm still going to be an Avalanche fanboy. And then we have Shiba and DOGE just hanging out also on the outside with Avalanche, but pretty strong. Polygon has been crushing it. I mean, look at all these gains. The 24-hour and the 7-day percentage gains on a lot of these has been phenomenal. Now, if you haven't heard of this resource yet, it's kind of equivalent to Finviz of when I'll do it with the S&P 500, but this is a cool way. It's coin360.com, and you can kind of see the size and the green, and right here, you're just seeing a lot of green. Of course, there's some red that we have based on what's going on, but this is a cool resource if you haven't checked it out yet. And then another one is cryptobubbles.net. So obviously the bigger the green bubble, that's the gain. And then the bigger the red bubble, that's actually going to be the loss. As you can see, most of these major ones, green. So what I could see off the top of my head right now is Toncoin, Sushi, Near, FTM, Phantom crushing it. Like these are some nice gains. And then like overall, I'm just trying to point out really how there's so many green bubbles. In fact, I'm only seeing 3 little red ones on the chart right now. But another cool one, look at SHIB right here, up 29%. Man, ruin. People were talking about that this morning. Cardano crushing. The fact that we have these 20% gains as kind of just medium-sized bubble tells you right now in recent action how amazing the crypto market has been. Sand, I mean, this is kind of a smaller one, and that's up 36%. The metaverse, we're going to be talking about that because opportunity for sure. All right, so let's hop into it. I thought this was kind of just interesting to share historical Bitcoin prices on Christmas Eve. So as you can see, it's 668, 318, 455. So all the way up till 2016, not even over 1,000. And then 2017 was that crazy spike, and then things kind of came down and people thought Bitcoin was going to be done. We came in at 4,000, then it started to grow, then it exploded, and here's we are now, 51,000. Now, I think next year, and we're going to have some charts and we're going to get into that of what it might not happen, because like, yes, we're going to have a halving cycle, and it's just this like common 4-year pattern that we're in with Bitcoin. And I get that on that cycle, things commonly cool down. But, and I'll get more into it, I'm actually very, very bullish on crypto and some other sectors, but for right now, let's keep it at Bitcoin. I think it's going to be higher. For the year 2022, I think we are going to be higher than wherever we close out December 31st of this year. So we have a couple more days to go. I think when you fast forward to the exact same date in 2022, I'm willing to wager that BTC will be even higher. And just so you have a better idea of how things are actually shaping up for the overall market, like, is it just Bitcoin? No. So this is where it was last Christmas 23, and right now Bitcoin's trading at almost 52. Ethereum 600, currently trading over 4,000. Solana $1.45, currently trading at 202. Cardano 15 cents, currently trading at 156. You have Ripple currently trading at 94. Back then it was at 31. Polkadot is currently trading at 32. It was trading at 5. Avalanche 295, currently trading at 119. And you have Luna and Doge right there as well. So as you can see across the board, an increase, and in a beautiful increase. Part of this has to do with the fact that it is being mass adopted. Across the board, there is mass adoption. Crypto industry venture capital funding, as you can just see, getting more and more and more. And we're actually breaking records right now. And it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. And shout out to Jameson Lop for posting this. I find it very interesting, but it's so much institutional money getting thrown into it. So I don't think it'll slow down. The world's best hedge fund managers are now investing in Bitcoin and Bitcoin related companies. Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, Alan Howard, Ray Dalio, Steve Cohen, Luis Bacon. Is that how you really say it? Is it just Bacon? I want my last name to be Bacon. That's sick. But we've been seeing this pattern, particularly over the last calendar year, of so much adoption, even of not even necessarily just straight up Bitcoin, but even things such as DOGE and SHIB, of so many companies. I know AMC, and we're going to have another announcement. There's another company that's now accepting that as, in this case, particular donations. But at first, way back in 2009, 2010, well, first of all, people didn't really hear about it. And then a couple years later, it started to get popular, and no big corporate companies or hedge funds or anything were really that interested in it. And then 2017, it shot up the whole crypto market, and then it came down as quickly as it went up. And a lot of people were trying to point out like the dangers of it. That's what you get. It's a pump and dump. It's not backed by anything. It's a digital currency. What are you doing? Like, of course you deserve to lose money. Yeah, and then there was a kind of a rough year, I guess a year and a half, but it based, and the technology continued to develop. And then from there, after making that base, it started to rip. Even the people who top ticked it in 2017, you're in at 19,000 on BTC. Even if you top ticked it. Now, would you have a couple rough years? Yeah, of course, like that would suck. But even if you held that entire time, you are more than double. That's a huge percentage gain, a 200% profit right now, even if you top ticked it when everyone told you like, wow, like you kind of deserve that. Like you were getting into something that you didn't understand. I strongly believe the direction the world has taken of just generically technology getting better, things getting less complicated, being easier to use. I like that. The technology itself is impressive. I like that. But also, and you're really feeling this, and maybe this particular flame is being, I guess, fueled by the general distaste of world governments and maybe somewhat related to Rona. But man, the fact that so many people are willing to outspokenly yell from a mountaintop that they're just tired of the government being so intertwined in their lives. And I think crypto it's scaring a lot of governments. I think some governments it's actually saving because so many things went awry, and that kind of shows the power of crypto and what it can actually do. But these things, I think it's, like I said earlier, I don't think that the rocket's taken off. I don't think that the ship has left the harbor, but it's almost, I think it's getting to the point, and someone with fancy credentials and that pedigree and probably far more money and intellect than I personally have said that it's almost too risky to not be involved in crypto. Not almost. He said it is too risky to not be involved in crypto. Now, does that mean go out and buy every crazy running, I suppose, like altcoin that you hear of? No, not necessarily. Most of my portfolio is within the top 10, top 15 on CoinMarketCap. That's where my money's centered. And yeah, I have some of the fun ones as well. But most of my money, I view it, I'm putting it in here and I'm going to sit and I'm going to wait. And whenever I see nice price decrease and then I see a little bit of buying stepping in, I just dollar cost average, whether up or down. I'm just slowly but surely adding to my own crypto portfolio because I think played properly, starting in 2022, and well, actually you saw a lot of millionaires minted this past year because of crypto. I guess I should say I think it's going to be continuing next year, without a doubt in my mind. Now, a little bit before, and shout out to Charts BTC for kind of bringing this up. You see this comment cycle: 3 green years, red year, 3 green years, red year, 3 green years. Matt, doesn't that mean a red year? Doesn't that mean a red year? What are you talking about, 2022? That doesn't make sense. Like, you're breaking the pattern. Aren't you all about pattern and data points and statistics? I am. Well, my reasoning for this is because the entire universe surrounding crypto, and now specifically Bitcoin, is going to be a little bit different. I think right now you have a global mass adoption that's just actually speeding up. I think it's increasing at an exponential rate, from retail to Wall Street to institutions to company to regulators to government to just the global citizen knowing about what's going on here. So I think if you go back to 2018, 2014, there wasn't that amount of adoption. My second reason is, in all of these years, we know that we haven't had inflation levels this high, particularly in the US, for the past basically 4 to 5 decades. We have an extreme amount of inflation, and I know that Bitcoin is always pitched as like, okay, it is a digital gold. And before this, gold was always pitched as an inflationary hedge. And what makes gold an inflationary hedge? What makes Bitcoin an inflationary hedge, aka digital gold? It's just that enough people think that. Now, we're going to find out. Like, it's not like there's a rule book that they're like, oh, gold has to be an inflation hedge or Bitcoin has to be one. No, it doesn't. But if enough people believe it, it very quickly becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I do think that it's going to play out that way because, let me share a little story. I mean, I was home just over Christmas talking to my family, and my family who I was speaking with, they're not involved in the markets. They don't know anything about the markets. And yet we had a full-fledged conversation about Ethereum. We had a conversation about Bitcoin being an inflationary hedge. We were talking about protocols. We were talking about NFTs. These are people who were never, ever, ever involved in the market, and yet they found so much interest in what's going on that they've been diving into it on their own. And I don't know if many of you have stories like that of over the Christmas period or just recently in general, but the amount of people who are now actively becoming involved in markets because they're particularly excited about crypto, I mean, I don't think that story is in any way rare. I mean, let me know in chat, but truly, when you have this many people who are finding a new passion, whether it relates to the technology, their financial freedom, being they think that the government's too big and they don't want them to have that much power. Whatever the reason is, people are finding a certain aspect of this narrative, this crypto narrative, that truly resonates with them at a deeply human level. And when there's so many people like that across the board, I just don't see how it possibly fails. And that's also part of my reason for this upcoming year bucking the trend of this like kind of 4-year period. We see 3 green, 1 red, 3 green, 1 red, 3 green, 1 red. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe crypto is red next year. Maybe whatever it is, January 1st all the way to December, like the end of December in 2022, maybe I get this call wrong. Do I think I'm going to get it wrong? No. But even if I do, does that really change anything? Not at all, because you also learn that the very next 3 years are green, green, green. So for me, it is a longer term prediction anyway. So if I'm off by 1 year, okay, I don't care, because I'll be holding this most likely for multiple decades. But I'm also not just being naively optimistic. There are other people who are probably in the same boat of me, and we also might just all get it wrong. Mexican billionaire says, buy Bitcoin in New Year message. So Mexico's 3rd richest person sent out a heartwarming New Year message to Bitcoin enthusiasts on Christmas Eve. Ricardo, very, very rich man, was talking about, hey, steer clear of fiat currency. If you don't know what fiat currency is, that's the USD in many other countries, just their base currency, not based to anything. Whether it's the dollar, the euro, or the yen, it's all the same. It's fake money made on paper, lies. Central banks are producing more than ever, and we know that. In the US, I mean, I'm not too, knowledgeable on the central banks of other countries, but in the US, we printed trillions and trillions and even a couple more trillions of USD, just like that. I don't know about you. I don't know. They didn't ask me. Was I okay with it? They didn't ask me. I'm sure they didn't ask you. There's a small group of people in power who, yeah, they're going to say they're doing what's best for everyone, but at the end, it's up to them. It's out of our control. And for however you amass your wealth, potentially working your entire lifetime, for it to like gain value or lose value at the whim of some elected political official who probably all they care about is getting through the next election cycle, it's the mismatch. And I think truly crypto is somehow scaring them because it does represent a flow of power from the government, whoever your government is, your local country, back to you. So with that, I mean, I definitely just wanted to share that message because it resonated with me and I thought that was, I guess, particularly interesting. Now, I do think there's going to be other things going on next year, particularly. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about the short term of what I see going on. So this is BTC in their 4-hour chart. So there's a couple different time zones I want to talk about. So recently, we saw this wedge. We saw a wedge of basically lower highs in BTC and kind of a little bit of lower lows, but more of a wedge structure, broke out of it. And right now we're pushing. It looks like we're setting up for a beautiful cup and handle. I'm watching 52,000. And then from there, I'm going to be watching just under 54. If we can break from this cup and handle, a lot of strength. Now, I do think it'll happen. It might take a little bit of time. Granted, this is the 4-hour chart, but the next stop upon a breakout at 52, I'm watching just below 54. And when we get there, I think there's going to be a lot of people who don't like crypto that right away are going to be calling, oh, classic head and shoulder. So they're going to say that's a shoulder, this is a head, and then they're going to be saying that this is the newest shoulder whenever we get to here. I'm just like kind of arbitrarily. So shoulder, head, shoulder, and they're going to be like, this is a bearish pattern. You should get out. It's all going to collapse. Now, I think you're going to be seeing that for a day, maybe 2 days, as we're hanging out roughly in the range of somewhere between 52 and 54,000 as we're trying to get through this like little gauntlet in here, wherever this happens. I mean, you could drop this wherever you want. I think you're going to be hearing it. It's not going to bother me because I think classically you're going to go up. I would not in any way be surprised if it gets smacked at 54 because it's already technical resistance from this support turning into resistance. I think we're going to get kind of smacked there. Maybe we're going to need time for the RSI to cool off. We might base at a new higher low. And then from there, I think that's when we start to embarrass all the people trying to call out the Head and Shoulders, and we really just start to push. And my next level after that is 56,000. And then from there, obviously you can see I'm watching some, but mainly 60. So if you see this Head and Shoulder call out, I just think my advice, and obviously do whatever you think is best for yourself, mine is to say, well, just wait and actually like give it some time, because it wouldn't be that surprising that when we push and the RSI is overextended, that it has to take a breather anyway, is my entire point with that. Now, the other major one that you just have to talk about is Ethereum. Most recently been looking very good. We kind of just been slowly but surely grinding up, and I'm just looking for the break above 4,200. From 4,200, I think we could have actually a really nice push to 4,400. So once again, the line in the sand for me on Ethereum, and I think this will kind of go hand in hand with BTC, is 4,200, looking very, very strong. Now, we will break down some of these other ones, because I mean, if you click through it, Solana, looking great. Solana pushing from 150 all the way above 200. Avalanche pushing from 75 all the way at one point to 128. Took a breather to 109. Now pushing 120 once again. Polygon hitting new all-time high this morning. A new all-time high. Or yeah, it technically did by a couple cents. Let me just mark this out so we can see whatever that difference was. But this was one that I was talking about as recently as last week, of saying, hey, I think this keeps going. I'm watching it at $3, and right now it just hit $2.92 not that long ago. So congratulations if you're in Polygon, aka MATIC, because that one has been doing phenomenal, and obviously it's going to be somewhat intertwined with Ethereum there. But this one crushing it. The RSI, yeah, it got a little hot. I mean, MATIC, it went higher, the RSI is lower. This is a mismatch. Like, I'm not gonna like try to say something different. Obviously it went higher, the RSI went lower. This is a momentum versus price action mismatch, as in it's some bearish divergence. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down around here, maybe 250, 260 kind of base, let things cool off, and then kind of go from there. Remember, do not chase all-time highs. I think it's silly. Loopring, let's quickly touch on it. I mean, I'm still a big fan of it. I think when GameStop, when the time passes for whatever it's doing in the back end for its NFT marketplace, when we start hearing those legitimate announcements, I think both GameStop and Loopring are going to start crushing it. Cardano's been doing absolutely amazing. Recently went from 120 up to 155. Yes, it has quite a bit of room to make up, but I'll be diving into what's going on there. But with all of it, I'm just trying to point out that right now, particularly today, over the past 24, 48 hours, it's crushing it. I think this will be similar to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. I think this will be the going message really for the remainder of the week, and hopefully into January as well. But I guess in a longer term prediction, yes, I am bullish, particularly on Bitcoin for the reasons I stated for next year. But I also want to bring up that my prediction for 2022 is a continued massive explosion in anything related to NFTs and the metaverse. So let's dive into that a little bit. So this was posted by Top Mints. So for the first time, NFT as a search term actually passed crypto, which is just crazy. That's absolutely insane, and just shows how popular it is. People trying to learn out about NFTs. And obviously when you're talking about NFTs, it kind of goes hand in hand with when you're talking about the metaverse. So this is a new announcement. Decentraland, luxury marketplace UNXD to host Metaverse Fashion Week. I think that's pretty cool. If you want to read more about the details, you could go to CoinDesk to check it out. But really what I'm attempting to do here is just trying to show that like everyone in every business and every, I guess, entity, it feels like they're always talking about NFTs, metaverse, and they're trying to figure out the cool ways to do new stuff. And now, will this be the thing that blows the metaverse up in a positive way in terms of popularity? Well, no, not really. But as more and more people are getting onto this particular train, I mean, metaverse, it's just, you got to look, things such as Sand, Decentraland, Gala, those, I think you're going to continue to see their native tokens going higher and higher and higher. Building off of that slightly. So this is a little bit older. I just think it's awesome. Snoop Dogg is developing Snoopverse, and someone just bought a property in his virtual world for almost $500,000. So for about $450,000 in early December, someone bought the property that was right by Snoop's, like in his own metaverse. So it's once again a continuation of these stories of just getting more and more and more popular. This came out right before I started the stream, like literally seconds before I hit go. This one came out and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Pokemon Go is now creating its own metaverse. Remember, that might have honestly been when Pokemon Go came out. I think that might have been like a highlight of humanity. Everyone was happy. Your biggest question was like, what color team were you on? And we're all walking around and we're just collecting Pokemon, leveling up our other Pokemon. Everyone was getting fit. No one was fighting. Pokemon Go's launch, like, it truly might have marked a high water mark for humanity across the board for the history of humans. And I'm just hoping that this one brings it back. Like, this just came out, like I said, a couple minutes before I started. So I'm just trying to point out, between NFTs, Metaverse, the excitement, I think that has already been huge this year. I think it will 10x, 50x, 100x next year. I see no signs of it slowing down. Now, like I said, I pointed out Cardano before. Yes, it has been beaten down. At one point, it was around 309 back in September. That was its mark. Was it technically early September? Yeah, okay, technically early September. And since then, it kind of came down, went flat, came down, but now we're bending back around. And a lot of people might be having the question, well, why? Polkadot and Cardano advance as crypto market rallies, but the percentage gain, Cardano was outpacing many things, and the question is why. And basically, Charles Hoskinson discusses Cardano's 2022 plans, needs institutions to have stake in it for success. So you see a lot of that, like with something like such as Solana doing very well, but there's a lot of institutional backing for that one. A lot of people like what he said. A lot of people said, okay, 2022 is the year that Cardano starts to piece things together, build, I guess, the institutional foundation that it needs, and take off from there. So according to Charles, my goal for the second half of 2022 is to figure out how to put all the pieces together and get an end-to-end microfinance transaction on Cardano. That's some exciting stuff. And also, according to the team, it's decentralized finance. So think about just, that's exactly it. DeFi, these platforms, lending, it's cool stuff. And I also really do appreciate the humanitarian effort that Cardano is particularly taking, but they're referring to it as real fi. Cardano can give those billions of people an identity, a digital identity, in fact, which they can use to access finance. RealFi creates value and opportunity for real people who really need these things. You have to, at a certain point, understand that not everyone has the financial infrastructure built around them the same as Australia, Asia, Europe, or parts of Europe, and say like the US. There are many billions of people who do not have the most basic access to the world of finance. And Cardano, and I would argue at a certain point also, like Bitcoin itself, it's opening up the world of finance. Like what we know as finance, we're kind of taking for granted. Many people simply just don't have it, whether it's the lack of just basic things such as electricity. And beyond that, these like the interconnection that is needed, it's a little bit of a higher barrier to cross. And Cardano is very interested in bringing the world of finance, and through that, just its blockchain, which is why they're getting this argument for digital identity to billions of people who in the world in 2021, 2022, currently do not have it. If they are successful in this mission, I would expect ADA to go through the roof. You have probably heard about climate change, energy crisis, etc. Cardano is very much a green blockchain. So if you remember, that's why Tesla kind of had to ditch BTC for a bit there, just because of its environmental impact, as it consumes far less energy to produce new blocks than Bitcoin or Ethereum networks. This is because Ouroboros is a proof of stake protocol. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, their consensus model is proof of work, hence you need a lot of miners. And yes, Ethereum is attempting to get off of that with ETH 2.0, but as of now, they don't have it. So it is proof of stake, which is a better protocol. And we also know as of September that Cardano does have smart contracts. So right there, it's in the same fighting class as Solana, and obviously ETH is number 2 on the market cap, but Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, they're all these Solana, Ethereum, Avalanche, Cardano, Algorand. They're all, I guess, relatively popular utility-based crypto projects I'm a fan of all the ones that are being well executed. And yes, I myself, I have a stake in all of those listed. And I've been in Cardano for a bit. The recent price action over the past, ever since September, has kind of been a bit of a bummer. But I'm hoping what we're seeing right now is a nice turnaround for things. I hope that we're just never seeing this $1.20 level region ever again. Things get executed upon well in 2022, and it's just off to an actual rocket ship. I wanted to bring up this. I think it's cool. I talked about it in the morning stream. World's largest breast cancer charity accepts Shiba Inu, DOGE, and BTC donations. And obviously, they are talking about the Susan G. Komen charity. So battling breast cancer there. And it's just another, this is a well-established charity that sees the value in accepting these things. There's just more and more mass acceptance. Talking about SHIB, I know a lot of people in here are absolute diehard fans, and I just want to bring up how the chart is also looking very good. In a certain way, looking similar to Cardano, but we see a cup, we see a handle. I'm looking for the breakout above 40. And then from there, I'm basically watching, let's just split it in the middle and call it 44, 45. But I'm seeing the cup, I'm seeing the handle. We're looking for that momentum follow through. At first, there might be a little bit of a hiccup around 42, but I really think as long as there's no like absurd bearish divergence in the RSI, I think there's a good shot it does continue up into the mid 40s. But right now, very happy to be a part of that. And even Doge is like, it's fighting back. We see a pattern of higher lows. Would love to see it get, it has a little bit to go, I guess 19.5. And then from there, I'm watching 21.5. All right. We did that. Ooh, cancel that. Let me save this just so I have it. And overall, I just want to leave this up. Just a quick reminder, cryptobubbles.net if you want to use this tool, and then coin360.com if you want to use this tool. But I really think this bubble was one, I don't know, it's a cool web app, so I'll leave that up. But let me turn this back over to you if you have any questions for now. I just want to lay out a little bit of higher level stuff of what I think could go down in 2022. My overall prediction is that crypto goes higher with a unique explosion in things related to NFTs and the metaverse. If you want me to do standalone videos related to what's an NFT, how do you buy an NFT, how do you make an NFT, what's going on in the metaverse, why are there so many metaverses, what metaverse is the most popular, how do you buy stuff in the metaverse, or if you want me to do stuff, I don't know, related to some of these like metaverse games or NFT games. I know Axie just announced one. If there's interest in that, because I think there's a stupid amount of money that you can be making. If there's interest in that, I'm more than happy. I mean, I have a particular passion for those. Or if you want to talk about, I mean, really, it's what do you want to talk about? I see some people talking about, what about Wonderland Time? Wonderland Time has finally it base and it's coming back around. So for quite a while, I was actually down on that DAO protocol, but now I'm back into profit. That one's been doing well, but the less, I don't know, well-established ones, the ones with the absurd APY, all got hit pretty hard about about half a week ago, I would say. But yes, Wonderland Time, that DAO protocol has been crushing it. Did you talk about the NFL players who opted to receive payment in crypto? I didn't know if that was a new announcement, but I remember months ago, there were some people, like actually at the start of the season, the NFL season, when they are like did that. I didn't know if Trey Soddy, I don't know if there's like a new one. If so, feel free to send it to me on Twitter. It's just, it's becoming such a mainstream topic now that everyone seems to be always having conversations about crypto. And when things like that happen, that just represents opportunity. You just have to have your eyes open to where the opportunity is. Do you have a stake in Atom? I don't. Actually, I was just reading about it before this. I just need to learn more. I know there's a lot of SHIB fans. Obviously, there's always a strong crypto Ripple following, particularly a lot of diehard Ripple people. I own 10 of those bubbles. That's all. Like, these are crushing it. Near field goal touchdown. Live DD on HBAR. We could do that one of these days for sure. Can you explain NFTs and how they work? Have a hard time understanding. I had a hard time with options until your videos, thinking you might be able to go through. I can definitely make some standalone like NFT videos. For sure. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, if you haven't already, if you enjoy this type of crypto stuff, it really does help me out, whether you're on Rumble, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on YouTube, if you enjoy this and if you think other people will enjoy it, it would be awesome if you could all smash the like button on your way out. It really does help with the algorithm in the background. And if you haven't, don't forget to join up with the Moon Gang and the Kohrs Kryptonians by hitting that subscribe button. But that type of stuff, liking, subscribing, following, all that stuff is completely free, and it helps me out like way more than I could possibly articulate. It's just how these things function in the background. The more engagement, the more comments, the more likes, the more subscribers from a video, the more people who are repeat watchers. It really helps out immensely. So if you like this crypto effort, if you like the research I'm doing, if you like the way I'm presenting it, let me know by doing that type of stuff. Or if you have suggestions of how I could improve things, hey, I am more than open to criticism, seriously. So if you're like, hey, I would like it if you did it this, this, and this, or if you said it, but like it was still too confusing, honestly, I'm just a Twitter DM away. Seriously, I'm attempting to make the best type of content I possibly can for all of you. So do not hesitate with any of your suggestions of, hey, I think this could improve it. I think this could improve it. Or if you didn't like how I did or said a certain thing, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will catch you in a little bit at the 3 p.m. show for the Power Hour wrap up. Thank you for hanging out with me for this new crypto stream. I believe this was episode 8, and we will be rocking into the new year with all of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll catch you soon. And as always, best of luck in the markets.